Okay, so this is the continuation course of last week. Last week we built the APIs, and this week I will build the Swagger UI, where you can actually deploy it, your APIs, that like the 4 common APIs: get, post, delete, and update. So these 4 APIs, you can document it and you can deploy it in Heroku, and then you can just send the link to other, which the people who wants to use those APIs. So it's like a basic API course, so you can actually see that how it works. So let me explain a little bit about what we did in the last week. So we make the Express and Node.js application, and here is a package.json. This is a really good things that if you have a already established project, so you have to first go to the package.json, and you can find the packages over there, and you can actually have a basic idea about the project. So here is the we make this using the npm init. You can check it, the YouTube video, because we already published in YouTube this the last week videos. And so what only one thing I changed there. I changed that like we previously we used like node and then index.js. So it's just running statically, like one time. Whatever you have to update the application and you have to run it again. So what I did, I made that dynamically, which is using by the nodemon. And I said nodemon, hey nodemon, can you just run index.js? So what nodemon does, nodemon run the application simultaneously. So whenever you update something, so it will update automatically, and it will keep updated the server every time. So that is the benefit of the nodemon. So one more thing, because we use the LowDB database, you can see in here. So we didn't use MongoDB and PostGit because I explained why we didn't use it. And LowDB is the open source, so you can use it. You don't need to pay anything, and this LowDB actually uses your memory and your own local system storage. So that's why it's more easy and frequent to use. So for this LowDB, I said nodemon ignore db.json, because it's automatically re-rendering stuff in there. So it will, what happen if you use nodemon always re-rendering the application. So it's really hard to define the db.json. So db.json is our database file. So you can see we didn't use any of other database sources. We just use a db.json as a JSON file, and we store our data in here. It seems to be a collection. So what collection actually means that you can see in MongoDB we have a collections, and the relational database we have a table. So this concept is being the LowDB. So we use this as a products is our collection, and we use this one as a database, and we have our index.js, which is our main trigger file. So how can we find it? This index.js is our trigger file. So you can see in here, we said that main, it's index.js, and we said that start nodemon index.js. So this is our server file, or someone said it's server.js, someone said it's index.js, depends on the developer. So here is our index.js file, where we just mentioned our express codes and all this stuff. So it's like we made this application, this server actually, and the server is listening in port 4000. Here I mentioned the port 4000. It's a command, you can put whatever you want. But if you run React application, and also you want to run the backend application, so you cannot put 3000 in here, because React by default run on the 3000 port. So you have to take care of that one. So yeah, this is the basic of index.js, and we have our main router file in here. So here our routes are declared. So you can see that we have a get route, get by ID, post, and also we have our put and delete. So that works fine. So currently, let's see, because you say that we use that start and then node amount, so I can run it instead of node index.js, I can run it npm start, and it will work. See, server is running on port 4000. So let me see in our Postman. So here is our Postman. So let me just move it here. So in Postman, you can see that here is our 4000. So let me explain how it works. So, oh, come on. So here is that whenever you run it, so you have your localhost 4000 HTTP as localhost 4000. You can see in here HTTP localhost 4000, and then you have your route /products, and then it will jump into this product. So you can see in here, if you click it, so here is our product.route. So in here the route is coming in. So whenever you see you come in this file, you have to think about your URL is like HTTP localhost 4000 products / then you have to mention what you want. Like if I didn't mention that, like it's just only product / then it will trigger this get application get route. And then if you mention some ID, so it will trigger this one. If you mention the post method with the /, so it will just only trigger this post one, this one, and then put and then delete. So that is our routing strategy. Now let's see that I told you that this 4000 is actually going into the index.js. Then we have to put the products, and it doesn't matter you put the / or not. So it will trigger the first route, which is get route. So let's see what we have. So see, we have our ID mi58, and this is our data. So let's see if there's the same data we have in our database. Let's see. Yeah, we have our same data mi58, and then you can go and nxb. So let's see, nxb is the right last one here. Yeah, this is the last one. So that works fine. So we also have the post in here, so that's also working. So let me just made it as a MacBook. Sorry, MacBook Air, and then we have, it's like 15,000, and it's a PC. So we have this PC, and let me send it. So we post it and see we have this data. So let me check in our get APIs. So we have to send it again, the request, and I believe you can see the new ID and MacBook Air is posted. Let's see our database manually. So in our database, you can see, yeah, we have it. Nice. So let update something in here. So let me take this ID, because I don't like Air. So I just copy this and I will update. Way, and then send it. So yeah, now think about it, just updated, and again we didn't put anything in here. So let me go there and update it. We have the name. See, it's now we don't need this one. MacBook. Instead of Air, we just put that MacBook Pro, and then we have to put it as a PC, and this thing's 15,000. I will update it again. So let me send it, and you can see the MacBook Pro 15,000. We'll update it in here. Now see, this one is a MacBook Air and PC and 15,000. We updated it MacBook Pro. So let me see. Go down. Yeah, MacBook Pro, PC, and 15,000. Yeah, put also work fine. So, and if you want to see that specific data, so you can search via this ID. Now, if you want to delete something, let me pick one ID which we want to delete, which is really don't seems to be good in here. Actually, the first one maybe, not the second one, whatever. So we just take this one because computer actually is not a category. We should put the computer or accessories. So we want to delete it. So let's go there and put it. And okay, so let me go there and let's see what we have. Do we have anything? Computer doesn't, actually we didn't see in here. So let me search via ID. Now we don't have any ID, anything related to this ID. So yeah, that works fine. But think about if you want to send this for operation to other developer, how can you do that? You cannot like say that, okay, this is my project and there this is the, like you make a text file and then you just say that this is the URL and you send them. No, that is not a good way to deploy them. So we need some documents. So here Swagger, it's actually a good documented platform. You can make your API proper documented. So okay, so let me show you that how Swagger it works. So you can see in here, let's Swagger UI, and here is the Swagger UI documents. So you can just see that how it works. So you can download Swagger UI, try it on the cloud. So you can just test it in the cloud version as well. So I'm not going there. You can just it's a straightforward, so you don't need to worry about that. Now, how can you use those documents inside your application? So let me show that things. So our server is running. So let me start with the documentation part. So what we need, like we use Node and npm package manager. So what it will do, it will make your applications package manager. And if you want the third-party libraries, so you can just say npm install this package manager or this library. Npm will install it in your local system. So that is the package manager works. So let me see that what we have in our package.json. So we all last week we already installed that part, but let me show you again. So what we did, what we will do, npm install in a short I Swagger JSDOC. So JSDOC, it's a JSON JavaScript docs. So Swagger and JavaScript docs. So this Swagger and JS doc, it actually tell you how can you write your documentation, like the documentation part. So, and then you have to install Swagger UI Express, which is actually connect your application to the Swagger CLI. So Swagger UI Express. Did I spell it correctly?
It should be SWA.
Sorry?
I think Swagger spelling is not correct. SWA.
Yeah, I did that maybe.
Yeah, there.
Oh, okay, I understood. Yeah. Thank you. Now who did it? Shadda maybe.
Yeah.
So npm install Swagger JS doc and Swagger UI Express, and keep on the actual word, because I have a good experience on mistaken the misspell the name. So here is that it's installed. Perfect. So you see in here it's automatically updated. So let me just close it and run it again. And then so we just put CLS. So npm start, so it start again. So that's good. We just installed our packages. Let me document it. So now first what we will do, we will make some we will import those libraries in our index.js file, because this is the file where the express server is triggered. So const swagger UI, swagger UI, and then we have the file require, and then we have this swagger file, which is swagger UI express. And then let me copy that and paste it again. And we have one more thing, which is JS doc. JS doc. So here is this JS doc, and then let me take this JS doc. Yeah. So just put it as a swagger doc. So these two libraries are in here. So let me import the header file. So so we have to define first the header. So what is the actual header is that whenever you want to send the request, you need to assign your request with some type, that what type you are sending. You are sending an XML file, you are sending a JSON file. So you have to mention those things inside the header. So let me start with the config in header file. So option, so I'll write it as an option. Then we have the file, and here I say definition. So it's like a definition, and then we have our definition is first we have to define that open API. Sorry, open API, and this open API, it's actually defining your version of your APIs. So your version is like 3.0.0, and then you have your info. Let me complete it, then I will explain it again. So info, title, then you have this API test. It's a title name, API test, and then you have the version, one point zero point zero, and then you have the description. The description is demo project or whatever. So it's just a demo project of API test process. And then you just yeah, complete with your information. So this information is actually shown in your Swagger API header. So you can see before your APIs, you can see some documentation about your APIs version and all this stuff. Then you have your servers. So servers, and this servers is actually taking an array. Inside the array, you have an object, which is your URL. So URL. Now, let's say, I mean, what is our URL? Our URL is HTTP. Then we have a local host 4000. Then, okay, 4000. And then we have this. So we just mention our server, we just mention our info, open API. Now we have our one more things, which is called APIs, like how many APIs you are going to declare. So I'm saying that, okay, just take everything, whatever I wrote in here. So it's something like, sorry, star and .js. So I'm saying that whatever you find .js, you can just invoke everything. You don't need to decide which API I should take or which is not, which API I'm not going to take that. So that is the global declaration. So I'm keeping it this one as well. So I believe that the documentation option is done. So let me invoke these options in our Swagger specifications. So let me start with const, and we have specs. It's the spec is especially for specification. So it's a, you can see it's a global syntax for global variable for the Swagger UI. Whenever some people wants to make the Swagger documents, they use this specs as a variable to flow their work. So Swagger, we have the JS doc, and then we have to put these options there. And let me go with another part, which is app.use. Okay, now I have to do that in here. App.use, and I'm going for this URL. So what is that a URL actually does? It's actually that where your documentation is running, docs. And then it's actually a route. So whenever you type API docs, I mean localhost 4000/API docs, then this one it will trigger. So then you have, then whenever you trigger this one, you have to send Swagger UI first, and then dot server dot serve. That means you are telling Swagger UI, hey Swagger UI, can you serve these applications with Swagger JS Swagger UI dot setup. So now you are set up the file inside the Swagger UI. So it's the specs. I think you guys have the clear vision of that. So what we did, we made the header first, and then we said that Swagger JS doc. That means we have a JS file and we have a Swagger. We are just saying that, hey Swagger, this is our JS file. You can just take this JS file and put it inside the Swagger. And then we are saying that, hey Swagger UI, we have a document inside you, so you just need to serve it, and you have to set up. That means you have to set up this specs inside your CLI. So then it's done, and then it will serve it in here. So that is the pretty much of our connections. Let me make the proper Swagger for us, Swagger document. So now if let me see what we will figure out. Where is I think our server is running. Come on. So let me see, local host API docs. Let's see. No, I think whatever. Terminal split. Okay, we have an issue. What is it? Yeah, so options dot definition is required, and we did the definition. Let me check the name. Yeah, I know that.
Options. It says options dot definition, but we have option. Is that
It's okay. Definition, I think I misspelled that. Definition.
definition? Yes. Yep.
I think now it works maybe. Yeah,
Mm.
now it works. So yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, about the misspell. So here is, you can see that it's run. You have demo project, you have the versions, and see servers. So whatever you write in here, API, SC servers, and then URL. So it will trigger to use it, because like the API documentation is actually for the dev stage. It's just also for the production stage. So both the dev and production, they have their different servers, so they use the servers different way. So that's why you can mention these things in here. So yeah, that's nice things in here. So let me go to the original document routing stuff. So let me clear this. Okay, so now let me start with the documentation part. So I will most probably copy that part, because I also copied these things from the Swagger documentation. So you can find that if you logged in, you can find there. So now explain for that what it does. So what you did, you mentioned Swagger. Hey Swagger, this is my documentation, and start from here, and you have a comment in. So this is the dynamic rendering that Swagger /js doc. I mean, this package does actually. So this package Swagger JS doc, what it does, it says that okay, this is a commenting, and then I found that @Swagger, that means this is a Swagger documentation. So I cannot like skip it. I have to read that. And then you say that components. So it said that okay, I found first component. Whenever you write Swagger documentation, you have to mention the component very strictly. So that's the components. And then it has like schemas. So schema, it's an interface. You can think about as an interface. Now, what is the interface? Interface is something like, in shortly, it's only a name. It's not like a whole. Say you have a box, and inside the box you have a 5 iPhone mobile. So you just saying your friend that hey, I write this one, I have a box which has 5 iPhone. So you just send the paper to your friend. So you can think about it's an interface, because you didn't send the whole box, you just send the name, the paper. So your friend can see that okay, here the box has the 5 iPhone. So he can think about okay, there is a box, inside the box it has some phone. So you just send a paper. So paper is some sort of, you can think about as the interface. So here I'm not sending whole database, I'm just sending the name like schemas, and the schema name is product, and the product type is an object. And then I said that it required actually. So I think it's takenly done. So I say that okay, required, and then we have a name, category, and price. So this is my schema variable or schema properties. It has name, it has category, it has price. And then the properties type is that I'm mentioning ID is a string type, and I put some description, and the name, and then type is a string type, and then description, as well as the category and the price. Then I put a simple schema example. Then the API, the developer can actually see the example, and they can think about that what it would like. So that is the name and category and the price. So iPhone 11 mobile, and 2000 is the price. So it can has the regulation. So let me save it and let's see our API documentation. See, you can see the schemas in here. So here is the schema definition. Say ID string, then you can explain something about the documentation. The name, this star marks is actually coming for the require. So you put the require, that's why it's the name star. So it means you need require if you want to check the APIs. So category and the price, all this stuff, and some documentation, and the example is here. So pretty good, huh? So let's go to the next part. So we describe our schema right now, but it's not working yet. So let me make the first route documentation. So how what is our route? It's a get. So you have the get elements. So we need this part. Let me take these things. Yeah, I know that. Let's go a little bit up. And yeah. So here is a next instruction for Swagger. So what is the instruction? I'm saying that here is a products. So this one will compare with that part. Okay. Now our component name is products and the action is get. And I'm saying some summary that returns the list of all the products. So you can see the message when your API is triggered. Then tags is a product. So it's just a bold product's name, nothing else. And if it is success, then you can see the 200 response, and also you can see the content over there. And the content will show you the content type is actually a JSON type, and your schema will like these things will show you. So it's an array, and inside the array you can see the objects over there. So what is the object? It's a product object. So whatever you have your product list, you can see everything inside your array. So this is the type of array. This is the schema type of array. So let's see. So let me refresh it. Yep, you can see that. Okay, go, and there is no parameter because for the get you don't need any parameter. If you want, you can use it that based on some parameter query, you can just trigger it. But for our APIs, we don't need any parameter. So let me execute it. Voila, you can see your APIs in here. Sounds good. And a little bit down. Yeah, you can also figure it that this is the response actually. So if you want to show only the response, you can only show that this 200 response. And if you want to show the curl API's link, you can also send this link. So most of the case, people are when they are using development and the production team, like the DevOps engineer actually. So what they did, they have to send the curl. They don't mention about like the only URL. They have to mention these things because the DevOps engineer doesn't know that developer environment is Windows environment, it's a Mac environment or the Linux environment. And he also doesn't know about the environment on the production team. So when they want to send this API, he has to send this curl because most of the case curl is on globally deployed in any of the server you want to use, Windows, Linux, or Mac server. So actually all Linux command you can run in Mac OS because Mac is actually built on Unix. So Unix is the P compiler tools of Linux. Whatever, it's a different things. So let me go, and yeah, that's pretty good. So we have done our get APIs. Let me just go to the ID. So here it is that we can just fetch our data from using the ID. So let me start with that one. Now here I have to explain one more thing, that see, if you send a request for via ID, so you can just think about the 200 response and also the 400 response. You can also import this 400 response in here as well. I just escape it. So you can just put this one as well in the up link, because if your response is not triggered, if your server is not working, then you can show this 404 that hey, your server is not working. So that would be the error handling part. So here is the same things. Our new component is actually the products/id. So you can send the request as a products/id. So you can specify the ID, and you can see the only specific ID value from your Swagger UI. And then pretty much everything is good, because you need the parameters and you also need the response handling stuff. So parameters is like in path and the name and the schema. So this ID is actually this route is actually get your data, and it will show as a content. So you can see in here the content in your browser as a response, and then you can see the object details. So this stuff is actually showing you the actual data. And I think pretty much the same stuff in here. So let me just save it and see what it does. So refresh that, and I believe I can see, yep, get products ID. So see, get the book by ID. Now it's not book, it's a products. It's a mistake. So try it. And then if you want to let's bring the ID from here. Try it out, execute, and let's see, copy that, and there is this ID, execute. Voila, you have this your single item in here. Nice. Yeah. So let me just put it in like here. So yeah, good. So you already done with your get route. Now you have to configure the post one. So here is a post one. Let me explain this post one again. So it's not a book, it's a product. Let me clean this. This one's product. So here you can see the request body. So tags is products. So okay, let me show you that what is actually the tags. So tag is actually that this one is a tag. Okay, so let me show one more thing in here. So you have the request body, it's a required. So for the request body, see, this is the post. So you have to post something. That means you need a body, and you have to send the body inside the database or inside the router. So you need two reference. So this is the reference which is actually holding the request body. So request body, it means that you are typing something inside the browser and you say the submit. So like you have a name and your address. So you say that submit. So what it does, it will take all this stuff from the browser, and it will send to the server, and server will store in the database. So that is the request body. So I mentioned it, the request body is actually a product. So that means our schema doesn't change. And then whenever you send this request body, you have to take this 200 or 500. 500 means server is working, but it's not possible to store the data inside your database. So that is an issue inside your database. It's not issue inside the server. So 400 and 404, all these two are actually belongs to the server error, and 500 is actually belongs to the database error. Actually not the database. It means that your server is done, server is good, there is no issue in the server, but the issue is your your logics or your database server. It's a different things. So here I'm saying that some server error. It's not a server error. It's something, some DB error, whatever you want to say. It's actually servers. I read is a server because it's a DB server, but I am not using any DB server in here, so you cannot think about that right now. So 500, 200, all this stuff is nice. So product successfully created. Yeah, I think we can check this out as well. So let me go the APIs, refresh it, and I believe I can see the post. Yep, we have the post in here. So in here, let me show that. Okay, how can you try this one? So you have to try it out, and you can see this request bodies pop up, and you say that required. You need to put something in here. So let me say something to Windows 11, and let's make it mobile, and then price is like 435, and oh, you have to put it, you can put it as a string, or you can just send the data, because by default in server will compress it on the string, convert it on the string. So yeah, everything is good. Then let's send the request, and in here you also can see this data. It's sent it, it posted actually, and then see you, I didn't put any ID, but it shows me an ID. So how can it shows me that ID? I explained it in last week, but let me explain it right now again. So in our code, you can see that ID is a nano ID. So it's a library which can generate the 8 character of the string, and it can put as an ID. So I use this nano ID library for making random ID instead of putting 1, 2, 3, 4. And the ID is always unique. You cannot match those ID with other elements. So that's pretty good, and it's successfully posted. That's nice. So let me see, is that posted or not? So we have this Windows 11. Okay, so let me take the ID first, copy and go up, and where is my element by ID? Yeah, here is my get element by ID. So try it out. Here, post that ID and execute. Voila, you can see that ID is posted. Let's confirm it for get all this stuff. Yes, Windows 11, category mobile, 435. Perfect. So let's go to our next things, which put. So here is our put documentation. So let me just take this stuff. Put documentation is a little bit tricky, because like put is actually what it does. It is actually in theoretically it's actually merging the get and post. So you have to get first, then you have to update, then you have to again post it. So it's actually that get and post merging these two actions and making a one put. So a little bit tricky. So that's why just think about in here that we have a tags and then parameters. So we need to first get all this stuff. So in here you can see in path, name, ID, schema, type, string, description, all this stuff, request body. So you are updating something, and then you have the documentations that it's referred that it's successfully updated or not. And 404 if there is an issue with the server, or if there is an issue with the database or what. Yeah, I think that's pretty much good. Let's see. And here is our products, post, put. Yep, have a put in here. So let's try it out. So we made a mistake. Someone said that Windows 11 is not a mobile, right? So I think I have the copy. Let me see in here first. Try it out. Execute all the stuff and bottom maybe. Yep, this Windows 11 is not a mobile. So let's update this one. Copy and try it out. And we have to update this stuff. Okay, so what we will do, we will make this category. Let's remove everything. Category should be what is the category is the OS. Let's see if it works. Okay, let me put everything. So I just want to say that OS and this all this stuff is Windows. It's 435. Yep, it works. But it's not actually a good way. We have to see the first data and then we have to update it. So this things is actually done by the UI that he can actually see that and then he can update it. Yeah, that is one bugs. So we have to fix it later, not now. So but the update is works. So you can see that OS. Let me see that in the ID. Oh, try it out. So that's it. See, OS is done. That's nice. So let's jump onto the delete part. So what is our delete documentation? So it's the same thing what we did earlier. So just take that one, copy, and we should paste it in here. So here is the same things. What it will do, it will just saying that 200 and 400, and it's just say that schema type string and then record. It's the same thing. Just it will handle the item via the ID, nothing else. So let's save it and go to the browser and let's see, we have our delete as well. Maybe, yeah, you can see our delete in here. Let's delete this stuff, the Windows one. No, not this one. Come on. So where is that? Copy that, try it out, paste it, execute. I believe it's done. Yeah, the response is okay, so it's done. Then check these things via ID first, then we will try it. You can see the response is 200. So because it doesn't belongs to the API, so we cannot see that. It's not in the database, so that's why we cannot see that. So let's go to our original file, and I think we cannot see any Windows stuff. Yeah, there is no Windows. Well done. So we just finished this documentation part. That's good. So yeah, that is the Swagger stuff. I believe it's all works now. So till now, any question?
Not from my side.
Okay. Anyone? No? So then we will move to the deployment stuff. Shall we
Yeah, before that, I just want to sum it up what we have done actually, because we have some absolute beginners
Okay.
who don't even know what is an API actually. So I just want to sum it up. First, Resolve as a developer created backend APIs using JavaScript as a programming language and Node.js as the backend library. So that's what Resolve did. And he created the APIs, and then he used Swagger to generate API documentation. Because when APIs are generated, so what is an API? You can watch some YouTube videos to get better understanding about what is an API. If you don't know what is an API, that will give you some context. And you can come back to this. It will make more sense to you if you know what is an API. And once API is developed, if the testers wants to test, where should they go? They can't go to the backend code and read the code and try to understand the APIs. That's not the better way. Some people do that, some companies do that, but the best way is for QAs or anyone who is not part of the backend development team, even the front-end developers, if they want to get the list of the APIs and the request response models and the authentication types and what are all required to know about that particular API, it's good to have an API documentation. So for that, the developers use this Swagger UI and they generate this documentation. And tomorrow, if the QAs or front-end developers, if they want to know the details of API, all they do is they go to this Swagger URL and they'll get all the list of APIs and the request response models, and they will use them. This is what we have covered in this session. In the last session, we have covered how to create APIs. And then in this session, we covered how to generate a documentation for the APIs. And now the next part is deploying to the code to a server. So when we develop the stuff as a developer, or it doesn't matter whether we are developers or QAs, if we write a code, we don't keep it in our local machine. We don't keep it in our laptop. We push it to the source code repository, and from there we deploy it to the server. So that is when it is accessible to everyone else, the stakeholders, whether it is end users or whether it is other development team. So it will be available for them. Whatever the code we write in our own laptop, we'll put it somewhere, for example, in a source code repository, so that other developers can access, and then we'll deploy it to the server so that the end users can access it. So now we'll cover that part, moving it to the source code repository and deploying it. It's okay if you don't understand 100% what's happening, because when you're learning some tools and technologies, you need some context. You will connect the dots in future when you understand some other tools. So you don't have to understand 100% exactly what is being covered. If you get the overall high level idea, that is good. In future, you will get the most of the things that are covered when you actually work on them. So don't worry if you don't understand, as I've been saying, just go with the flow, try to get a high level overview, what is being done by Resolve as a developer, and just save it in your memory so that in future you will connect the dots. Yeah, Resolve, you can continue.
Thank you, Jagdish. Okay, so let me start to make a diagram, what I will do from now to the end. So here is our, suppose it's our local system. I'm using Mac, so I'm just saying that it's my Mac system now, and I have my application in here. So this is the API app. Suppose I just write it in here. So this the things I have in my local system right now. Now what I will do, it is not possible actually that this application is sent to you that you can just run and check it out. Now it's not possible because I have a lot of dependencies. I have a lot of libraries. It's not possible to give all these things to you. So what I will do, we have a cloud things, right? we have a cloud stuff in everywhere. So you are always connected with the cloud things like the internet. So if you connect to the internet, there is possibility to you have to connect to the cloud. So every enterprise server like the GitHub, GitLab, and those things like the Microsoft and all this stuff, they have their own cloud version. So if you want to access my code, I have to put this code inside the cloud anywhere. Okay. Now, so let me just get rid of this, and I think now it will work maybe. Yeah, so API test. So I have to put my app from my MacBook to the cloud. Then because everyone is connected with this cloud, not my machine. So if I put my app inside the cloud, any of the cloud, so anyone can access these things. I have to just send a link to them. So that part I will do. So what is the procedure of that part? That the procedure is that I need to choose, because I need to choose a cloud version, either Microsoft, either Microsoft Azure or GitLab or GitHub. Those are actually the cloud version. So where you can just store your own local code to there, and then you can make the deployment or the continuous integration or whatever. I mean, whatever you want to do, you can make it in the cloud, then everyone can have the access to there. So in our case, I will choose the GitHub, and what I will do, I will put my code from the GitHub, from my local machine to the GitHub. Then what I will do next, there is another cloud version called Heroku. Heroku. If I misspell, just forgive me. So here is the Heroku, which is actually our deployment server. So I push my code in here. So my code is stay in GitHub repository. Then what I will do, I will make a login like this connection. I will do that. I will do that. And what it will do, I logged in the cloud Heroku, and I will say, hey Heroku, can you take my app from my GitHub repository? So Heroku have a connection to the GitHub. So I will log in the Heroku, and I will say, hey Heroku, can you take my application from the GitHub? So Heroku will take this application from the GitHub, and he will run it inside his Heroku environment, and he will deploy the internet. So I just say that internet is like this one, the big whole stuff. Here is the internet. So he will run it. He will run it, and then he will just run it in here, and he will deploy my application inside the internet. So yeah, in this picture you cannot see the application, but real life you can see the application. So that is actually I will do right now. Okay, so I don't know how much you understand, but let me start with the application. Well, so I'm done with my application stuff, and all this stuff is done. Okay, before start with the Heroku stuff, what you will do, if you want to deploy any of the application to the Heroku, you need one CLI. Or first you need the GitHub Git in your machine, and it has to connect with the GitHub. So how can you connect with the GitHub? I think you can just search on the Google. You can find out the configuration stuff over there, and then you have to log in to the Heroku, and you have to make application which is called create application. I will show you them. So create an application, and you have to say the app, like if you make the application name, suppose ABCD app, and you say that ABCD app will take code from GitHub. Okay, so then you have some step inside the Heroku, and then you just say that deploy, and it will deploy it there. So that is actually our work. So let me first take the first step to push our code inside the GitHub. So before pushing, I have to make a repository. So I think you can see my GitHub page. Here is my GitHub page. So can I hide this? Okay, whatever. So here is my GitHub page. So how can you log in to the GitHub? Just if you are new on the GitHub, so you just go and just register your name and email ID, and it will make your GitHub account. And then you have to download Git from the Git. Just type Git download, and you can see that Git download. See, from here you can just download based on your operating system. So, and then you just install it. It's pretty much straightforward. So you don't worried about that. So that is the Git. You downloaded that, and then you have to follow some instruction to because you have your local Git and you have your GitHub. So you have to connect those things currently via some sort of SSH key. So I'm not going to that part. If you Google it, you can find out. It's something a unique key for your machine and the GitHub stuff. So I already done that part. So I'm not going to this one. So what I will do, I will make a new repository. So where is my repository? So if you go there, I have here is my repositories list. So this all my projects. So let me start with the new project. So it's a SITA API test, maybe API test. So I'm putting as a public. You can put the description, or if you are enterprise, or if it is a personal project, so you can put it as a private as well. So, and then I'm not mentioning any, I mentioned the Git Ignore. Oh, no, not, I don't need to put anything from here. So just make that repository. Yep. We have our repository here. Nice. So I'm just going back to my terminal. Just close it. So SITA API test. Okay. So I'm in my current folder. Make sure that you are in your current folder. Otherwise, you have to configure your environmental variables. So that's a different stuff is coming in. So what I will do, this repository doesn't have any Git initialization. So I have to first show. Let's see. This is my new Git repositories, and the GitHub saying me create a new repositories on the command line. So if you have your command line, you can just put Git Init, Git add, and commit, branch, remote, push. So if you do this stuff after logged in, after all the configuration file is done, then you have to follow these things. And yeah, so this comment is pretty straightforward for every operating systems. So you don't need to bother about. If you have the Git CLI in your local system, so then you can just follow the instruction what they are saying. Okay, so let me start with Git Init. Init. Yeah, it says initialize empty Git repositories. So this one is empty Git folder. Now it's initialized as a Git repositories. Then I have to follow. Then I have to add the all file. So before adding, I have to do one more things. So I have to make another file called Git Ignore. Okay, now what Git Ignore does, you see there's a node modules, a file bunch, folder, bunch of file inside the folder. So you can remember that how many file it has. So if you push all this stuff inside the GitHub will say you, hey, I'm not take care of this node modules. So I cannot take your code from your local system. You have to take care about node module, then I will take care of another code, other codes. So you have to say that, hey, Git, you can ignore node modules. So then Git will ignore this node modules and Git will push all this stuff inside the repository, GitHub repository. So I made this Git initialization and then Git add. If you say some index.js, it will only add the index page. But now I'm saying that all. So all means that it will ignore the node modules and push everything, whatever he has inside the SITA API test file, API test folder. So I'm saying that Git add all, it's adding everything. And then I said git commit -m. It -m means a message. And then I said that initial comment. And then I said that, okay, so it committed everything, whatever he found in here. I didn't save it. So see how many files he committed. I have to save this and then I have to put again the git add. That's the things. If I say git push right now, it will show me an error. So I'm not going that part. I'm just saying git add again. And then git commit -m remove node.
But I don't think it will revert your commit. It will still push node modules to the repository if you push now.
Okay.
You have to revert to your commit.
Actually, don't know how to reboot.
Yeah, you just say git status, or what was that we use? You remove
Git status.
Yeah. Okay, so it is now modified.
Yeah, I think it will work.
Can you say git log? Git log. So you have to revert to the commit. If you see the commit FF400, the commit has initial commit. No, sorry. I mean, can you see that commit FF40019?
Yes. Yes.
That commit has all the node modules already. So now you have to revert to that commit so that all node modules will come back to the initial stage. So I think you have to use maybe git reset.
Let me check that it works or not, then we will take this stuff.
Yes. So I think you can just git reset and the commit, whatever the ID that is there, if you use that will commit. And when you say again git status, it will show the node modules as not added files.
So what you want to do?
What you can you type git reset?
Yeah.
And let's see what it says and hit enter. Unstaged changes after reset. Okay, now can you say git log? It still says so. Yeah, I think it doesn't hurt even if we push the node modules now, but
let's see.
Let's see. Yeah.
Now I have to say git branch. And then
You are in branch now, right?
mm,
Then what you can do, you can actually check out to master, create a new branch, and then you can do that, right? So that your node modules will not go to the repository, main repository.
let's see. I mean,
Yeah, let's see. Yes, let's see.
I don't think so it will make an issue for now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's good if GitHub take these node modules from us, because we need to have this inside our Heroku.
Heroku, right? Yeah. Correct. But will not Heroku auto install if we?
Yes, I mean that also can do, but let's see how Git works, because I actually wants to make a pipeline.
Okay.
So there's I am saying that this is my Git local repository, and now what I did, Git remote at origin. So this is my remote repository. So I'm saying that this local repository will connect with the remote repository, and it is connected right now. So what I will do, I will push it to my main branch. Copy. Since it's taking, but let's see. There is no fatal error. Let's say in our repository. So here is my current repository. Refresh it. We have a node modules in here, but yeah, we can ignore it. You know, like, so just keep it right now. So then, then we have to go our Heroku page and then see. Okay, now let's see. I have to push again. We didn't mention anything in here about the Heroku. So we have to make a file. Actually, every CLI like GitHub also has their workflow based on YML script. If you want to use Jenkins also have their YML script. So every CLI has their own script. So for Heroku, they have the proc file. So I'm going to initialize that proc file. So you see that this is the symbol of the Heroku. So I said that proc file in here, and this proc file is actually what it does. It will install the node module, but unfortunately we have it. So install, and then I will say web. Web is actually that Heroku understand that this is a web application, and we have to Heroku have to run web npm start, so that the server will start. So I have to save it, and again I have to, okay, let me clear that part. I have to add it again. So git add dot, and then we say that git commit -m, and then update or add proc file, and then we have git push -u origin main. I think so. Main, yep, main. Done. So here, where is our GitHub? Let me see. So let's see. Add proc file. You can see our proc file is here. So here is our proc file. Okay. we are done with the GitHub stuff. Now let's go to the Heroku browser. So here is the Heroku browser. Sorry, Heroku website. So you can log in from the Heroku dashboard. So how can you log in? I mean, you can just let me log in again. So you can see that if you click the Heroku login, so you can see this stuff. So then you have to just make sure that everything works fine. So yeah, you can just log in. If you are not sign up this page, so what you will do, you will have the sign up page and you just sign up from there, and it's pretty straightforward. You don't care about. But there's one thing I have to mention, that nowadays Heroku have their own identity server. It's a different thing. So now they are saying that if you want to more secure your application, then you can push all this stuff to the identity server, and then identity server will take care of that part. So I'm not going to that part as well. So here is my dashboard inside our Heroku. So I will create a new application, and I'm saying the application name is SITA API test, and then you have the zone, so which zone you have to use it, and then you have a add to pipeline. You can use the pipeline as well. So it's a different stuff. So create what is that? Item could not be created.
They want your money.
Because I already deployed it.
You can show the deployed version actually. So
yes, yeah, because I already deployed today morning this stuff. So that's why they're saying that, hey guys, get rid of that.
Yes.
So whatever, see, if you create the application, you can see something. This is the repository. No, not this one. So okay, so in here you can see when you create it, they will actually ask you that where is your code? Do you want to use CLI? Like if I say that there is a three options actually. One is that Heroku CLI, GitHub, and then another option is like random or something. So if you use Heroku CLI, so you don't need GitHub. You can directly push your code from your local repository to the Heroku app. But if you use GitHub repository, so you just connect this GitHub and make deployments, build stuff. So you can just click the build over there. So I think that is not in here. I cannot show because it's already built it. So see, my previous application also have the same proc file. So you can see that general information is that the Heroku actually knows these things: web npm start, npm install. So what it does, it just take these two stuff. First, he just make this npm install, and then he said that okay, web npm start. That means it will start the application inside the Heroku. This application. Where is the application name? SITA test. I made the application in this Heroku platform, and then it will trigger this all stuff, last activity. So you can see I built success and deployed it success, like in the morning, maybe 9:03, I deployed it. So let me go there and let's see how it looks like. So here is my application. Now, what is the issue in here? The issue is that this is only the application is triggered. I cannot see anything because I have my route API docs. Here is my API docs route. So whenever you trigger these things, you always see that part. Okay. So you can as well as go to there, and you can see the deployment section. Compared of build success. Here is a build log. Let me show you the build log. So see, build, then caching build. So node modules is actually triggered only for my npm install, and then dependencies are there. So this all stuff, if you download the application inside your local system, this all stuff will trigger there. And then it says Heroku says build success. That means it's successfully built. And in here you can see the launching release version 7. So this application has their own version from the Heroku. It's called version 7, and this is the actual link for deployment. So for the API, this is coming from the Heroku, and then you have your route. So you can think about it as a secure route. So the secure route is that. So if this one you triggered, your application will be pop up on your stuff. So that is the actually deployment. So if I send these things to you guys in chat, I think everyone can access that part. So now it's not in my local system, so it's on the cloud. So you can try it whatever you want. So let me try it again. Let's see. So aha, bad request. Why? Because I have to go again. What happened with that?
I can access the URL.
Is that working on
Yes,
it?
worked.
Okay, so I think I just sent the wrong URL, maybe because it's deployed a lot of time, and it
But
has.
I mean, I can access. I can see. I can see the documentation
Okay. Can you share the link in here?
in the chat.
Yeah, I
You
think
already shared, right, in the chat.
chat link is working.
Yeah, working.
Yes,
I mean,
it is now.
I got it.
So why my share is not working?
SITA-test.herokuapp.com, right?
Yes, but
Yeah,
can you access the data? I mean, can you see the data?
exactly. I can see everything that you see. Should I share my screen? If you want, I can share.
Yeah, you can share, but there's interesting parts is happening right now, which is okay. Okay, guys. Yeah, Jagdish, I need 2 more minutes. That this one I want to show you that when you create application, you can see this 3 part. Okay, so I'm just take this GitHub and I connect my GitHub with my Heroku to get the application from there, and I deployed it in here. You can see here I deployed the stuff. So let me deploy it again in front of you. See, it's building stuff, compressing, build stuff's done, compressing, launching. Yes, that's good. Deployment is done. Let me view the application. Yeah. The docs. Try it out. It's showing me this fatal error again.
Maybe that is because it is trying to access localhost.
I think no.
Should we give any Heroku URL as well?
What exactly? Yeah, I think I have a lot of stuff. It's somewhere it's breaking something. But whatever. If you guys are accessing, then it's good.
Yeah, I can access the API docs. But let's say if I want to try it out, execute.
It is giving error actually after executing.
Not allowed a request resource type error.
Yeah,
that's
that is what I'm getting. I think that is because the request URL says localhost 4000/products. If it's
okay, I understood that.
Different URL, maybe site SITA test, something like that. Maybe it might work. I don't know.
No, the thing is that I am blocking from the Heroku that I cannot access it right now.
Okay.
Because I already tested this things a little bit earlier, but this stuff is actually Heroku are providing me. This network failed. So Heroku network is failed.
But you stopped sharing screen, maybe?
Yeah.
Let me share 1 second. Actually, I will show what I see. So if you see, let me hide my floating meeting controls. Yes. So if you see, I get all the details of, I am just using this. And if we go to Swagger, when we execute, the request URL is localhost 4000. As I don't have the server running in my localhost on 4000 port, this is failing. But if we make it work, I mean, I think we have to generate the request URL like this /products. Then it will work in Swagger also.
Okay.
But I think it is okay, even if it doesn't work in Swagger, because we can use Postman now. Now our base URL will change. Our base URL will change from localhost 4000 to SITA-test.Heroku app. And we can use all the paths as it is, /products, /products for posts, and /products/ID for put, so on and so forth. Let me do one thing. Let me open my Postman. New share. Postman. You can see my Postman, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So now what I will do, I will create a new collection, and I will just name it as SITA-API-test. I'll call it. And under my Postman, if you remember earlier, Resolve created Postman requests using localhost as the base URL. So now what we will do, I will create a variable. First, I'll create one environment. Sorry. Let's go to environments. Let's create one environment that is SITA-API-env. I'll just call it, and I'll add a variable that is base-URL. And now our base-URL will become the URL of Heroku. Let's say this will become our base URL. Let me copy it from the browser and come back to Postman. So this is our base URL always now. And this is our environment. Let's go to the collections. Now I will add a request that is get products. I think get all products, I will say first. Now I don't have the code in my local machine. I neither have any server running. I just used the results deployed URL from Heroku. So as a QA, I will always get that URL. I'll get the API documentation, and from there I'll get I will just call it as base-URL. And here the environment, I will select SITA API and /products. I will just save, Control W. So now when I say base URL, what URL I will get? I will get the Heroku app URL. Okay, cannot get /p. This there is a spelling mistake. PRO/DUCTS. Let's send. Now I got all the products, right? And similarly, all API requests will work. Put, get, delete. What I can do, I can also create one more. This is for Heroku, right? I can create one more collection, that is SITA API test-local. And I will create one more environment. I will call it as local environment, local-env. And I don't have to create new collection actually. What I can say here, I can say the same variable base-URL. Initial value will be http://localhost 4000. So, but this is my local environment. If you length Postman, in the Postman we covered one thing called environments. Now, when I send this same request for this API, I will do this. Instead of API env, I will say local env. Now my base URL value will change from Heroku link to local link. If I am running my server locally, if I click send, it will work. Now it is not working because I am not running the server locally, but it will work in Resolve's laptop because Resolve has the code in his laptop running the server in the local host. But I can only run it from the Heroku app. So if I click send, it will work for me. And similarly, all other APIs will also work for me. Not only this get, all other APIs. I can add one more request, get by ID, right? We have get product by ID. And so URL, let me share again. What was the URL in the I will go to API documentation. I don't know how it is implemented in the backend. I don't know whether it is implemented in the Node.js or JavaScript or Java or Python. I don't know. All I know is this API documentation. I'll come here. I have already added this request in my Postman. Now I'll go to another request. Where is that? Get by ID. Okay. Here, this request is there. And let me stop. Get. I will try it out. Execute. It is expecting some product ID. I'll just say something. Execute. So this is the URL it is generating. This is the base URL till this, but it is the local one. But I already have base URL from Heroku. Now I have to pass this products/ID. So what I will do, I will go to my Postman again. I will generate the URL base URL/products. Okay, I will stop sharing the browser. Now I came here and I expected I got the URL, API URL, and now I am going back to my Postman. Let me share my Postman. Where is the Postman? Yeah. And I am now generating the request and slash. This time we are passing the ID. So I'm passing the ID. This ID is not variable is not created in this environment. So I will go here and then I will create ID and value. I will get some value from here. maybe we have ID 1, some different IDs. So I'll take this ID. It says MacBook Pro 2021 computer 15,000. I'll go here and I will add this value. And get product by ID request is ready. If you see, if you don't have that variable in your environment, it will show red. You see, it is red. If you have that variable, it will show orange. That is the hint. So now both our variables, base URL and products, base URL and ID is showing orange. That means they have values. Now if I click send, I will get that particular product. So similarly, I can add requests for put and delete as well. It will work in the same way. And if I want to test them locally, if I'm a developer, I can test them changing the environment locally env. Or if I'm a QA, I will get the environment. If it is a test environment, I will add variables according to the test environment. If it is staging, I will add variables according to the staging environment, and I will test. Right. I will stop my screen sharing now. So I think we are good with deploying our backend to a server. In this case, we used Heroku. We can deploy to AWS, we can deploy to GCP, Google Cloud, and we can deploy to Azure, it depends. Or we can deploy to our own Linux machine, and then we can add a reverse proxy to access it with a domain. There are many ways. But the high level overview is developer develops the code in his local machine and runs the server on the local host and tests basic unit testing, and then deploys to a test environment or staging environment, and then QAs will get the URL only or API documentation URL only, and then they'll create their own requests using Postman or any other SOAP UI or any other tools, and they test it. So this concludes the backend part, I guess. So next week, we will see how front-end developers will show it in the UI format, whatever the products. We thought of covering it this week itself, but as the content is very vast, we couldn't cover this week itself. And it's already 2 hours, almost 1 hour, 40 minutes. So we will end the session today here. And the next Saturday, I will send the new calendar invite. The next Saturday, we'll see how exactly when you open a browser and then start entering some URL, and you will see all these requests, the REST requests you can perform in the UI. And we will also see in the network tab how the front end is calling this backend APIs. Okay. Right. So yes.
Will it be on Saturday or Sunday?
It will be on Saturday, but I will leave it to Rizal. Rizal, maybe you can say a few words and we can end the session about the next session.
I don't know what should say right now, but yeah, I think maybe on Saturday morning, because the session, I mean, it depends. Actually, I have one more meeting on Sunday, that's why. But let's see. And second thing is that, yeah, you guys already have the knowledge about like APIs. So I don't know actually, but it works in the morning. I don't know if you have some issue with the credential or not. I have to take care, and there is some issue with the live server as well. So they're saying that you have to use a live server or whatever. So yeah, I will see that part as well. But thank you guys for attending this session. I think.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you,
Lord Rizal, for your time. I will send the calendar invite, everyone, don't worry. But if I send the invite, that is the fixed time. It will not change. So just, I'll also message you in the Discord. If you are not on Discord, please join Discord. We are not going to use Slack from tomorrow. I have sent the links in the Slack already. So please join the Discord. I'll share the information about, once I finalize the timings with Rizal, I'll share the information in the Discord.
Okay, but will it be available on LinkedIn? as you created the event.
No, because initially we planned only 2 sessions.
Oh.
First one to cover the backend, second one to cover the front end. I only created the events for only those 2 sessions. Now I don't want to create the new LinkedIn event because I want to keep it to the minimum people. So if we create a new session, those who join, they will not get this context that we covered these last 2 sessions. So it will not be in LinkedIn.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone who joined. Thanks, Rizal, a lot. We'll see next week.
One minute.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.